in hospitals. All those activists, the so-called, especially in my country, they don't care about that. They will never raise a hashtag for that thing. When it's the elites, if I may say that, then you see them looking for donations, going to UN and everything. My worry with Africa, African women, is we can't stand up for each other. If Joanna Mamombe was abducted, that's very wrong. I, as a ZANUPF person, if there's proof, to prove beyond reasonable doubt that someone was abducted, yes, the person that has done that must be prosecuted. I agree with you. But what I don't want to believe is what I don't want to believe or to be made to believe, a certain group of women is covered by these so-called human rights activists. That's my problem with opposition people, opposition party members. We've got a lot of issues. The population, especially in Zimbabwe, if you check, we win our elections, especially ZANUPF, in rural areas mostly. That's where our people are, right? That's the audience that we speak to and they understand our language. I would say that for now, right? My worry is then those people, the activists, when those people in the rural areas have problems, they don't have hospitals, medication, why don't you do the GoFundMe like you do when people are abducted? Just because they are not Mamombes, then you don't say anything. Just because they don't have 1,000 followers on Twitter, then you don't say anything. Remember, almost only 5% of Zimbabweans are on Twitter, Miss Dondo. To say to you that ZANUPF is a dominant party, I think that's not correct. I think that's not correct. You have asked a correct question. Right now, we are under sanctions. There's no country without corruption. You said it yourself, right? The reason why I'm in South Africa right now, why I came to South Africa, it's because my country no longer have the industry. There's nothing there. Okay, right? If you want to see our problems, when our problems started, the real problems, you want to be truthful, it was after sanctions. I'm not saying corruption is good. I'm not condoning corruption. But I'm saying, in as much as you're saying we are corrupt, ZANUPF is corrupt, people must be prosecuted. You are a lawyer, you say so. You can't prosecute without enough evidence. You have to prove beyond reasonable doubt that a crime was committed, right? So I feel as women, politics aside, what are we doing as women to other women who don't wear stilettos, who don't wear Brazilian weaves, who don't have WhatsApp? What are we doing? We're doing nothing. We're doing nothing. That's the truth. We can defend ourselves all we want. We rush to UN because Mamombe has been kidnapped, because Gonyeti has been kidnapped. I'm sorry, I'm just going to refer to the politics of Zimbabwe. Then we come here to South Africa again. There was a case in Togoza. I go out there sometimes. I don't publish it because I don't usually do that. I work on my own. Sometimes I help people. They come, they stay at my place. I give them food. I give them food parcels, etc., etc. Those are immigrants. I appreciate the lady who said she's looking up Annie there. She's working with immigrants who are suffering. There are a lot of women staying in the streets, raped, engaging into prostitution. Where are those organizations? Where are you activists? Most of our population is in South Africa. I would like to see your presence in South Africa. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. That was a mouthful from Ms. Tendai Mago, who is representing ZANUPF. I'm so sorry that it's kind of a reference to ZIM, and we want to create a better Africa, and I think our nations matter too. And I think Ms. Mapaseka, you've been listening to the argument, and I want to pose a question to you to say, what are the challenges faced by women in politics overall, and what are some of the challenges we need to urgently address to provide opportunities for women in Africa? What are those challenges? Because as you can see from the arguments that's been shared here, there is a lot of bad blood, and to be honest, it always goes back to politicians. When we are working as activists, all is well in love and in war, or everything is fine. But when we go back to the issue of Africa, to the issue of an ordinary person, we find ourselves, we are not protected and so forth. So what are some of the challenges that needs to be tackled in order for us to move Africa forward? You can give reference to South Africa as well.
Okay, thank you very much for that. I'm just gonna trickle back a little bit and say, absolutely 100%, it's possible for women from different political parties to work together. Specifically in places like Rwanda and Ethiopia, where more than 50% of parliament is women. So women should be able to come together and deal specifically with issues that affect women the most. We understand that within, political parties, just because you have a seat on the table doesn't mean that you actually have the power. So if women would unite across political parties, there's so many things that they can do. And of course, they would get the buy-in of men, because men would want to support the issues of women and what needs to be done. But with that being said, there is a lot that women are facing in politics, and issues that need to be addressed urgently. Our political landscape is a reflection of what our society is. So whatever that's going on within our society is reflective within our political landscape. I can imagine that women within political parties have issues of rising up or ascending to the top of their political parties. I mean, if you look across Africa, there's currently one female president, Ethiopian president, who was elected by parliament. And so that speaks to how women and representation, how there isn't enough representation of women, and even at the top of political parties, women lack there as well. So the job of women within political parties is to ensure that they push candidates who are female, who are standing up for African rights and for African women specifically. I mean, I think there was a missed opportunity at the 54th elective conference of the African National Congress, where they could have elected a woman who was actually the most qualified candidate. This person who served in multiple ministries. She was the chair of the AU. But of course that we know she was associated with a man who at the time was, surrounded, and there was a lot of allegations of corruption. So it should have been, the purpose and the work of the women within the political party to ensure that that particular woman gets elected. But other issues that women are facing throughout Africa is, of course, genital mutilations that we're seeing in especially East Africa, Sudan, Uganda, and Kenya. I mean, there's a documentary on Netflix, Eve's Apple, I think that's what it's called, and it speaks about the experiences of these women who are mutilated. And although it's important to get global solidarity on these issues, it's African women who should be at the forefront and saying, hey, this is what's currently happening in Africa. And these are the issues that need to be tackled and addressed. Another thing would be in access to sanitary pads. We know that when young girls don't have access to sanitary pads, they miss, school, and they end up dropping out. So therefore, education is an issue. And we know that education is a huge opportunity, and it allows us to get our foot in the door. So when young girls are robbed of that opportunity to actually study because every month they bleed but don't have access to sanitary pads, that is an issue. And that is a very immediate issue that we need to take care of. Another thing is GBV. There was a gender summit in South Africa in 2018 that then went on to adopt a national strategy for women. And I think that, at the end of the day and at the core of it, what we need to look at is economically, do women have the muscle to make decisions for themselves? So let's ensure that women have access to land. Let's ensure that women have access to resources, right? Another thing would be, the inequality in terms of remuneration. That's another conversation we need to have. And I think that politicians, women specifically, this is something that they can, pioneer within their parliament and say, look, we need to adopt and amend our labor relations legislation to ensure that women actually earn, equal to their male counterparts who do the same jobs. So we know what the issues are. At the end of the day, women need to have access to education. And I think that right now with globalization and social media, it's given us an opportunity to actually step up and to be able to address those issues. We're not going through traditional measures and routes anymore, but we're able to speak from wherever we are.
Wow, thank you so much, Mapaseka Mura, who is a political analyst, and it is very, very important. And I had a conversation with somebody that I always call the African men village head boys, and there was never a head woman in any village. There is always a head man, and he said to me, just imagine having a female leader. What if she goes on her periods while giving a speech? And that kind of mentality, this is an educated person that I'm talking about. I'm not talking about someone who doesn't know what they're talking about. And they don't want to hear anything where women are concerned. And I wrote a post-mortem last year, what I called a post-mortem. When you look at, when you run a campaign after that, to write a post-mortem to say, okay, this is what went down and this were the challenges that we faced. And everything that I highlighted, the response that I received was, politics don't need emotions. And I said to myself, okay, politics don't need emotions. Fair enough, but when you guys get angry, you beat up everybody. Is that not an emotion? So if things go tough as a woman, I should be allowed to cry, because that's how I can express myself. Because if I can get angry and remove my slippers, nobody will stand. That's Mata Matarenda Shumba on Radio 54 African Panorama. If you just tuned in and have a comment or a question, may you kindly drop on our Facebook page as well as our WhatsApp fan page. Let us hear what you think. We are joined in here by panelists from different walks of life. We have Honorable Pismabe from the ANC. We have Tendai Mago from ZANUPF, we have Comfort Londo from Pubulan representing ZIMFIRST, and we have our political analyst with Mapaseka Morwa, and we also have N. Michaels, who is an activist dealing with migrant issues. Is politics the answer to African problems, and are women fully involved in that area? And I believe, Honorable Peace, there are some projects that you are running as a party within South Africa. Would you like to share some of those where education, responding to what Mapaseka said, and the issue of sanitary towels? Is there anything that the political parties are doing as political parties? Honorable Peace? Honorable Peace, hello? Okay, I think she will catch up with us soon, the issue of networks and so forth. Honorable Tendai, you mentioned something that is quite interesting, where you said the issue we have is that battles are only fought at political levels. And I once shared something to say, I also come from the community where abuse is rife, and these things are never discussed. Oh, Honorable Peace, you are with us. Okay, thank you so much. You can.
Yes, I can hear you now.
Yes, you can. You can go on. You can go on.
We have, as the Youth League First, taken a resolution that sanitary towels should be provided to young women who are attending school. Mm-hmm. And it has been a program that has been escalated to the government level. Mm-hmm. And in the legislatures, we then campaigned for sanitary towels to be associated or to be classified as tax-free items. So that on its own is an achievement. But we have further partnered with the private sector, and we have a standing program where schools are provided with sanitary towels. So before COVID, I can account for many schools where I know that consistently they were able to be provided not only by sanitary pads, but we've tried to, we call it a dignity pack, where you get a toothpaste, a bathing soap, and a roll-on. So those are the basic things that we feel that as a woman, when we wake up in the morning, you need those basic toiletries for you to get going. And you would remember that most school dropouts were of a result of women not being able to get dignity around their health. So if you go to school, you are on menstruation, you don't have proper sanitary towels, you might blot yourself, and that takes your dignity. So people would be absent for 14 days. Imagine there are those who go for 14 days without going to school. Others would use things that will affect their health later, newspapers and all that. So it's a campaign that was started by the Youth League, and it was able to find its way to the government agenda. And as we speak today, pets are tax-free in South Africa.
Wow. Thank you so much. That's so informative. At least people out there can get to understand that we do have our women in politics who are really pushing at government level for the benefit of an ordinary person, for the benefit of you and I. There is also an issue that we always face. I remember I have to share things that I did came across, that I had, and things that we experienced. As my question earlier on. As I said earlier on, there is not much protection for women in politics. There's always a lot of stuff. But I also got to understand that within the political parties, within the movements, we have a lot of harassment, sexual harassment. It is some of those things that we cannot really go out to the world and dish it out there and talk about it, but we have experienced it. And we also get to situations where you are young, you are vibey, you are out there, you are getting out there. Then there is this bigger guy, within the party or within the movement, you just go like, if you want to get to the next stage, sleep with me. We have came across that. I remember sometime last year, I did sleep most of my time in hotels because of the campaign, so I had to move around, go here and there. And I found myself going around with my laptop, and before I sleep, I would put it at a table at a corner, and I would just put on the camera to record. Just in case somebody walks in, somebody does something to me. That was the only protection that I had. And in many cases, I came across those people that you can finish giving a presentation and viva, we are winning. This is where we are going with Africa. This is, and then somebody will just be like, and you are so pretty. Like he was not listening to anything that I was saying. So how do we protect ourselves from sexual harassment? How do we deal with that? How do we push and not give up? I'm posing this question to all of you guys, and I would like to get a response first from Ms. Tendai, then Comfort, and I would like a speech from you, Mapaseka, to hear how do we deal with such a situation?
Okay. I think some of those things, when it comes to the issue that you've mentioned, Martha, is sometimes as women, as I said, I've worked as an underground miner as a woman. I faced a lot of challenges as a woman, like people expecting you to give them sex so that they can help you. It. Recently, I turned down a job offer where someone said, you need to sleep with me in order for you to get this job. And I was like, so why did I go to school then? If I'm to exchange sexy and the job, if it doesn't want with this job, then I'm leaving it, right? So I think sometimes I'll be blunt on this one. We as women, we will put ourselves in those situations, right? For example, I'll give you an example. You when you're going out there, maybe to see a man or something, why you are dressing up is because you want to impress someone. Why you are losing weight is because you want to impress someone. I've come to a point in life that whatever I do, I'm doing it for me, not for my husband, not for my boyfriend. Okay. So I think as well, women as well, we can't stand for each other. That's That's one big problem I have with women. That's why you see that when maybe we are at a company, you are busy going behind the back of these other women. That's why you see women taking each other's husbands or boyfriends. That's how we are. So men, as long as that mentality is there with us, as long as we don't have our sisters' backs, as long as we don't cover up our sisters' backs, men will always use us. Let's say Martha is there, she's the HR manager. I go there looking for a job. Then Martha says to me, if Tendai comes here because I'm sleeping with the boss, Tendai is going to take the post. Martha doesn't give me a job. So you see now, that's where the problem is. We as women, we don't trust each other. I asked someone one other time and I said, if there's a woman president, would you vote for them? You know what they said? They said, no, women are too emotional, like you were saying. It's coming from another woman, it's not coming from a man. So, and another thing, we have got this 50-50 thing. Yes, it is there, right? I hate it when laws force companies to take people because the law says so. You understand what I'm saying? People must be employed because they can. You need to have that position because you can do the job. I'm an overseer manager because I can blast, not because I'm a woman, they have to employ me. Because companies will tell you that we don't run charity organizations. So if as a woman, you find yourself in a position that is influential, use it wisely, use it to promote other women, use it to build other women. Most women don't want to build each other. That's why we end up falling for the men's traps when they want to sleep with us to give us jobs. And to be honest with you, a man would give a woman a job as compared to a woman. Woman to woman, you don't get the job.
Yeah,
so
that's right.
We need to, yes. Thank you so much. I think I've said enough. Thank you.
All right. No, that's fine. We're gonna be wrapping up in the next couple of minutes, so we're gonna do the chop. But anyway, we are left with about 90 minutes to go. Miss Dondo, you want to comment on that? And also, I saw that you wanted to comment back on something. If you can do that in 4 to 5 minutes.
Absolutely. So thank you. I wanted to respond to my sister, Comrade Tendai Margo. I just have a few things to comment on. I wanted to mention to you regarding your comment around activists coming to the UN and just begging for funds and the funds not going to the people. I would like to say on a larger scale, I agree to your sentiments. On my personal scale, I would like to really refute that because personally, with our organization, we do not believe in just serving a certain kind of woman. In fact, myself, I come from very humble beginnings. I grew up in Chishanje, Mavuko. I don't know if you know that part of Mavuko, but it's a part of Mavuko that I call Nazareth because nothing good was supposed to come out of that place. And my organization was actually birthed here in the US for the purpose of serving HIV survivors, victims in the city I grew up in. I believe in serving the most marginalized and underserved people. So when I am going to the United Nations, I am going for the women of Zimbabwe who don't have a voice, the very same ones that you mentioned, the ones not in heels or stilettos. I'm going for the girls of Mavuko Chijanje because I grew up in that place. I am that girl. So let's try not to generalize political activists or activism work because some of us are going on those platforms so we can bring the voices of our lost ones back to those platforms. The second thing I want to talk about is you mentioned you're in South Africa. There's a reason you're in South Africa. There's a reason I'm in the US. And let's stick to the facts. Zimbabweans are all over the diaspora because things are not well at home. We cannot begin to blame other external things. We have to go to the foundation. Things are not well at home. We need change in Zimbabwe. We don't have a leadership in Zimbabwe. We have a tyranny in Zimbabwe. The people who are in leadership, they are operating with a hand of tyranny. And I'm going to share a story quickly here on this platform. June of last year, I lost 2 of my family members to this government. If you oppose them and you speak against them, they kill you. And you mentioned about prosecuting without evidence. In the case of the 2 women I lost to the accident, I'm not gonna give much details because there's a lot we are working on behind closed doors. When these people reached the hospital and there was one survivor, the evidence was tampered with. The clothes of the one deceased were washed. So let's not talk about evidence as if we're talking about a just rule of law. Our country does not have a rule of law. They are the rule of law, the people who are in government. So I get very enraged when people come to these platforms and they try to refute things that we know are happening. We are not crazy. These things are happening. As we speak right now, I am fighting for one of my family members live. They are men hunting them. They are looking to finish them. So this is not just fiction. This is not just fictitious. This is something that's affecting me on a personal level. So let's just mark that. We have Hopo Chingono in prison. For what? I don't know. We have a lot of people. Where is Itai Zamara up to date? Where is Itai Zamara, my sister? Unless we start facing the facts and stop walking like everything is okay at home, we don't even need to be on these platforms. Things are not well in Zimbabwe. We need things to change. We cannot be ruled by tyranny governments that kill its people for speaking up. In Zimbabwe, you are not safe after you speak up. I cannot go home right now because I know my life is in danger for speaking up. And that's all I want to say.
Okay, that is a political speech from women in politics, you know, sharing their experiences and what they think. And I don't think if the women back there during the Smith regime and during the apartheid era were gonna stay in diaspora and stay wherever they are and not on the ground, we would have got our liberation. But guess what? We are in the new era and we fight using different platforms in any way that we can. But if we want to find solutions, at some point we need to come together and say, what is the problem? And the problem should be really something that is shared out there and not politicized, because political polarization have killed many nations, not just Zim, even in all countries that you can look at their politics. They don't really confront issues on the ground, but it always be a fight of which camp are you coming from, and should you speak or should you not speak? Ms. Peace Mabe, do you have any last remarks as we close off?
My last remarks, I will want to take from the previous speaker that as women from different countries, let us go back and join the struggle against any inequality. Without women taking forward the struggle, there is no way that we can liberate our countries. I have worked with you in campaigns against sanctions in Zimbabwe. It's something that we still need to intensify. I am saddened by the fact that at least a Zimbabwean citizen is saying with a heavy heart that Zimbabweans are all over the diaspora. They are unable to go back home. I do not want to enter the Zimbabwean politics. I think this is also not the correct platform. Yeah, but I'm saying as women, let us unite. We are there, you know, we always provide support in terms of solidarity. Maybe we need to then take it further with women who are not only in South Africa, but in other countries, and see how we can come and come with a program that will make sure that the women of Zimbabwe, they take a center stage and they fight for their rights, not only for their rights, because if women are liberated, the whole society is going to be liberated. They will liberate the disabled, they will liberate the aged, they will liberate men, and they will also liberate the children, which is the future. So I'm saying again, there is nothing about the liberation without women. There is no struggle without women. Women must take the center stage and make sure that they fight for their rights. The human rights in South Africa, it did not fall from the sky. It was fought for. even though we are not able to practice it to the latter. But at least in our constitution, we have a human rights charter, which protects us as human beings first, whether you are a woman, whether you are a man. So we need that type of Africa. We need an Africa that is united. We need an Africa that will take advantage of its natural and mineral resources, because other countries are now taking advantage of us because they know that we are not united as Africans. In fact, it's an agenda just to delay us, to keep us wandering, so that, divided, so that we are unable to focus and educate ourselves and occupy the center stage. The pandemic has given us an opportunity to restart all over again. As Africans, if we can work towards the unification of Africa, I think we can be developed, not developing, we can move towards developing developed countries. We do what it takes. Let's take advantage of the mineral resources and the natural resources that we have. I thank you.
Thank you so much. That was Peace Mabe, and we are left with a few minutes. And Elizabeth, are you able to add in 1 minute? Elizabeth? Elizabeth, hello? Oh, she was struck.
No,
Yes.
I'm here. Yes, hello everyone.
Good
I'm
day.
really humbled.
Yes, we are all left with a few minutes, so I'll give you just less than a minute to say.
Okay. I'm just grateful for all the presenters, those mostly and the panelists, for all that they have said. What they've said is really authentic. It's really happening. There are so many topics that need to be covered, mostly with Africa and women creating the Africa that they want. And it starts with us. We are born to nurture, we are born to lead, we are born to do all sorts of things. It starts with us. Yeah, thank you so much.
Okay, thank you so much. That was Elizabeth. She's an activist representing the She Did Foundation, and she's based in Uganda. And Mapaseka, do you have anything to say? I think in the next 3 minutes.
Yes. There's a village in Kenya called Umoja, where it's a woman-only village. And when things get tough and you look around Africa, it's tempting to move to Kenya and just be part of that village where it's only women who are sick and tired of being bruised and abused by men, and so they live on their own. I think, look, at the end of the day, yes, absolutely. At the core of Africa, all the solutions to Africa's problems are Africa uniting under one economy, under one army, under one government. That is what we need. Also, as women, we need to understand that, yes, politicians have power, and yes, the people have power in terms of voting for policies of different political parties. But there's also this other power that we ignore, and it is the donors who fund political campaigns. Women need to rally. We need to come together and put our money where our mouth is and fund political campaigns so that politicians can be accountable to us the same way that politicians have always been accountable to white men who have funded their political campaigns. Another thing would be the fact that in terms of GBV, there needs to be an inquiry into the psychological state of men. We need to understand why they are the way they are. Is it because of patriarchy? Is it because of capitalism and the inequality and poverty it creates? Is it because of PTSD from apartheid and colonialism? It's not to say that women are not perpetrators, at times, but we're saying that in the case of South Africa, where more than 50% of women who die at the hands of their intimate partners, we need to get to the bottom of it so that the solution is not just in an emergency case of arresting, of castrating, of dealing it in terms of punishment, but we need to understand psychologically what is the issue that we can heal. And at the core of it, we also need to dismantle patriarchy. We need to get rid of, the male primogeniture, not just in SADC, but throughout the whole of Africa, to ensure that women can also inherit, right? It's not just that first male who inherits everything within the family, but women as well are able to get their fair share.
Mm-hmm. Thank you so much. That was Mapaseka Mura, who is a political analyst and moderator, and she's here to make sure that the punches are not thrown. Thank you so much, ladies, for tuning in and for being here in Creating the Africa We Want. This is Martha Matarenda Shumba from Radio 54 African Panorama, and you mentioned something regarding educating men and understanding them. That's why Elizabeth is here. She is representing the organization that I'm working with, which is the She Did Foundation, which deals with the boys and young men in Africa. And we are trying to be that bridge. And you should see more of that and hear more as we are approaching September. It's gonna be officially from me and Radio 54 Men's Month. That's when they will be speaking. We'll be bringing in men in politics, men from all walks of life, and to understand why are you not involving us as women. And as we're about to wrap up in the next 5 minutes, and we're joined by Dr. Maxwell Shumba, who is from ZIMFIRST. Dr. Maxwell Shumba, do you have any questions for the ladies just in the next 1 minute, or any addition where women in leadership are concerned? If you have any question, these ladies are here. I want them to answer. They are all politicians and Pan-Africans.
No, thank you. No, I wasn't hoping that I would speak. You can see, but in 1 minute, I want to applaud you, Martha. We share the same last name. Thank you so much for providing women. I've worked in industry, and I've been in society, in various organizations. But one thing I can tell you is women leadership is equally good as men's, or even better. Mm-hmm. Even in our party. This is the reason why the chairperson of our party is a woman. I applaud you for doing this. Please keep on doing this, because women need a platform. As men, we have men privilege, unfortunately. Mm-hmm. It's very difficult to stand in the mirror and admit our weaknesses. Mm-hmm. We tend to get like the drum beats to me, African drum. It's time to give it to the women. Thank you so much for doing this. I am very proud of what you've done. Keep on doing it. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Maxwell Shumba from ZIMFIRST, which is a political party that is putting Zimbabweans first. And I want to thank you, each and everybody who is here, and to say this is the beginning of new things. But I want to challenge you guys before we leave in the next few minutes. We have Peace Mabe from the ANC. I've worked with them. We have Mapaseka. We have Comfort. We have Annie Michaels. We have Jennifer from Zim Alliance. She couldn't join in. We have Mr. Ndaimago. Is it possible for us, just as we were in this meeting, to say we're going to put together something that we can work with, to test the waters, to see if women in politics from different political parties, from different organizations, are able to put something together, even if it means to collect sanitary towels. I wanted to challenge us before the end of 2020. Are we women from different political parties going to unite for a purpose to do just one thing? I've worked with Honorable Mabe, and I know it's possible. So this is a challenge to all of you. I'm going to send you a message. We're going to find out what we're going to work on, and we're going to come back here, Radio 54 African Panorama, to give a report that it is possible.
Can I, Ella?
Yes.
Yes, everything is possible.
Sebastian.
Daddy, please mute.
I'm supposed to.
Okay.
Daddy, please mute your video.
Yes.
No, anything is possible. I was going to ask you off record that you provide us with the details, contact details of the lady who said she was. She runs an NGO that looks after the shelters of migrants in Johannesburg.
Yeah. I will definitely do that. I'll work with
Okay, yeah.
African
Maybe that's a project that one of us can put our heads together, since 50% of us are here in Joburg. So I want to give the challenge back to you and say that let's go visit the center and identify things that that needs immediate intervention.
Oh, perfect. Mapaseka, are you in, right?
Absolutely, 100%. Count me in. Yes, let's do this. Let's work for the people. Yes.
Okay, perfect. Tendai? Tendai, I guess you are in regarding this, and Miss Londo, I understand you'll be in Tanzania this October. Yes, you can just say.
Yes, I'm in. Yes.
Oh, perfect then. I think Miss Londo, if we're able to hook up with you while you are in Tanzania, that would be lovely.
Awesome. I look forward to it. So, yeah.
Great stuff, because looking at the situation, we have spoken about these challenges to say there is no unity. But how about we lead by example to say, yes, unity is possible. Yes, we can work together on this. We can do something. And I'll be in touch, Honorable Peace. I'll be in touch with you just offline, and the rest of you guys. And we'll speak to Annie Michaels, and we can start with that, and we can choose a day to go and see him.
Amandla.
Awethu, Womandla, Awethu. Thank you so much, ladies. Thank you so much for tuning in today. And this is Martha Matarinda Shumba on Radio 54 African Panorama, Women in Politics, in creating the Africa we want. We can create a better Africa for all. And it begins with you. It begins with me. A better you, a better me, a better we, and a better Africa. Thank you so much, ladies.
Thank you.
All right.